want to say thanks for allowing me the opportunity to share a couple of memories of Bob. Um, First of all, I started working here in 1974, so I met him when we were both quite a bit younger than now, and most of my memories from back then were just as working together and in kind of communication area. I'm a speech language instructor, so I was always kind of fascinated with not just his voice, but how he combined that with his signs. He had a way of expressing himself that I could only hope someday to be able to try to achieve. He had a wonderful way of telling stories, of instructing, and he was just such a model for me. Then in later years, I continued to work, but Bob retired, and finally I started running into him again. Where? Wegmans. We both went to the Wegmans near Chili. So I would often run into him, and he'd be in his little motorized scooter going around, and we'd exchange our different stories about sports, especially baseball, of course, but soccer as well, and just chit chat about what was happening. So that's what I really miss. I got used to not seeing him here on campus, but I miss thinking I might run into him at Wegmans. Bye, Bob.
Frelick made theater history in 1980 when she won the Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play. That was the first time a deaf person ever won that Tony Award. It was Broadway's highest honor.
Bob and I shared a love for poetry. Not poetry in prose, but poetry in motion. Baseball. Bob and I loved the gracefulness of watching a fielder make a shoestring catch in the outfield and making him get the last out of the game. Or how about Hank Aaron's 715th home run? And not to mention the graceful athleticism as a second baseman avoids a sliding runner for a 6-4-3 double play up the middle. I didn't know Bob in 1988, but I'm sure we were both in front of the TV October 15th, 1988, watching Game 1 of the World Series. It was the Dodgers versus the Padres. It was the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs and 1 man on base. The Dodgers were down by 1. And who comes out of the dugout to pinch hit but Kirk Gibson? He's battling the stomach flu and he's got 2 bad knees. But he came out there and he fouled off a 2-2 pitch after the runner stole first base. And with a 3-2 count, Gibson landed a walk-off home run to win the game. And who can forget him rounding those bases, pumping his fists? Bob, I'm going to miss you, but John Panara, rest assured, Bob is home safe.
Hey, why not raise the arm? Well, the umpire thought it was a good idea. Ever since today, when the umpire says strike, says strike. Keep the flame alive.
That's the goal.
My favorite memory of Bob, there's so many of them. I would say I was impressed that he, asked me to go to Rochester Red Wings, the baseball game, and asked me last minute to go to the theater with him, spend time to go eat dinner, watch the sports, and the best memory I would have to say that I was able to dedicate full mind show at his theater. Bob, a great teacher. What made Bob a great teacher? I would say his heart and soul. All of us need to see the book that Harry Lang wrote a book. I brought a copy. It's a great book that Harry wrote about his life. I bought 2 books, one leaving my office, one in my home office, and I read it several times. It's a must to read. He has the passion to make each student to believe themselves and help them to become successful in every way. Bob made a big impact in my life. The way he taught us during his studies, during his classroom. I love the way he taught with his total communication. He used signing and voicing at the same time. I also want to add that Bob made an impact with me. He was able to make the time, make an effort to keep in touch to some of his students, and also keep in touch with me from time to time. And he will communicate just like a father would do. And that's why we adopt each other like father and son.
And W Matt. Well, I like baseball. Baseball has no time clock, none, like other sports. And extra innings. Exciting game always. You're on.
Babe Ruth, you had Babe Ruth.
Yeah. And I became deaf. Get. Such different characters. So my letter. Wait. My mother. Catholic. Mona still.
Hi, John Panara here. It's been almost 2 months since my dear father passed away. During that time, many people have shown so much support for my family and me. Has shown their love for my father and their wonderful comments about him that they expressed in emails, cards, at the funeral home, the long lines, people waited. Maybe in the hallways here at NTID, bumping into somebody who wanted to share a few comments. Means a lot to me. It's hard to believe that time really does fly, because I say that because it was 1967 when we moved up here from Maryland, Washington, D.C., after my father took the job here at NTID to start a new chapter in his life and our lives. I can still look back and picture my father driving, my mother in the passenger seat, me sitting in the back, and making the drive from Maryland to Rochester and NTID, RIT. 1967. Tough to believe time can that quickly. Doesn't seem that long ago. I look back on many wonderful memories with my parents, and then later, after my mother passed away, my father. Many wonderful memories. I'm thinking of the times when we, 3 generations, my father, my son, myself, we'd go to Buffalo to watch the Bills play. That was when they were good with Kelly. They had a good team. They would win, and when we could shout. I'm thinking of all the times getting together, my daughter, my son, my wife, myself, my father, my mother, get together, watch the Red Wings, the wonderful times together. And my parents going to see my sons and my daughters' baseball, softball teams. They would always enjoy coming to watch the games. It's just hard to believe that a time like that. And then more recently, my father was so excited and thrilled to be a great grandpa and have 2 wonderful, beautiful, great granddaughters. And he thoroughly enjoyed his time with them, spending time together, the family. I look back on those times and I always cherish them. My father always emphasized the heart. Almost everything he wrote about, for example, his famous poem on his deafness, has a reference to the heart. One of his favorite songs, "You Gotta Have Heart." And so I think of that, and I think, he will always be in our hearts. Love you, Dad.